Hello, hello, Leah. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Social Slowdown podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
I am so thrilled to share the story of how you've been able to help your own mental health with your experimentations, we'll say, with your marketing, with your social media. But before we go into that, I would love to hear just like a brief overview of what your business is and how you work with your clients.
Yeah, so I am a sales coach for women who run B2B consulting and coaching businesses. I teach women to how to get leads that are the right clients. I teach them how to lead a sales process, how to get paid more than they ever thought they could, and how to really feel confident in the sales part of their business. And I do that with women in a program that I run called the Academy, and also some one-on-one coaching here and there.
I like to say when people are like, Meg, what do you do? And how do you help people get clients? I'm like, I help you get people to find you. I help your website get them to express interest in you. And then you need to work with a sales coach. I don't want to teach you how to do a sales call. I don't want to like walk you through a discovery call. Everything that I learned about how I do this comes from Leah. So,
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. And yeah, I mean, that's where the handoff happens. Once you are found, then the sales process begins.
right. And there is, I think people have this confusion about like, when does marketing stop and sales begin? And it's not always a cut and dry line, but there is a point at which you need to be able to talk to a person and say, like, okay, here's how you give me money. And people are afraid
Yeah,
of that.
that's actually the best way to get the money is to talk to people about the money and offer, your services in exchange for money and hopefully great money. That's my mission in life.
Yes. And your business is smart, gets paid for a reason because it's like you're working with people who are incredibly intelligent, really good at what they do, and should be getting paid for their expertise really well,
Absolutely.
getting paid really
Absolutely.
well.
And more than they thought they could. I can't hammer that point enough. More than they thought they could. I think I work with women, and a lot of women think that there's some sort of limit in their minds of how much they could be getting paid. And my job is to show them that you can actually get paid a lot more, and to help them actually do that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us also come out of, salaried positions at which we have an hourly idea of what our value is. And we kind of comport that into, well, now I'm a consultant and that's what I get paid. So I'll just keep doing that without thinking about all the overhead of being a consultant and the value that you bring to someone that isn't your employer. And yeah, so there's a lot of math involved in all of this.
A lot of math, a little therapy. It's really
Some
fun.
confidence. Yeah. Well, you posted on Facebook recently, and I saw it and was like, I just want to talk to you about this post and what's in it. So it's not really about sales so much as what your experience has been in the past year or so with your marketing and your relationship with social media. So do you want to just kind of recap for me what's been going on?
Yeah, sure. Well, and I know we're going to talk about how I've gotten off or, sort of really dramatically decreased my Facebook and Instagram usage. So it's ironic that you saw this post on Facebook.
I know,
But
right?
but let me tell you what it was about, and you'll see why I had to post it there. So, or for the listeners, let me tell you what it's about. What really prompted this post is that I had gotten back in touch with a few people recently who had commented that they've stopped seeing me or seeing pictures of my son or on Facebook and on Instagram, other social media, and is everything okay? And sort of hinting that is everything okay? And just for context, I my son is 2.5, and you know how you do that thing when they're in their first year, and like every month you do the pictures, right?
Yes.
And then he turned 1, and I like stopped doing that. I was like, and it all corresponds with what we're going to be talking about here. And so I felt like I needed to address it because, yeah, if people go quiet, I'm sure people on the other end were like, are they getting divorced? Is there something
Mhm.
wrong with the baby? Is something like what's happening? And so I had to allay those fears. And so I wrote about how I had purposely decreased my Facebook usage, specifically by removing Facebook and Instagram from my phone. And this had been a really purposeful move for me. Um, and what's really interesting is, and we can sort of go into all of this, but I had I had always known. I mean, listen, I'm just as for background, I love the internet. Like, I'm a child of the internet. I had Prodigy, which I had when I was like 10.
Yes.
That was before AOL, you guys. So anyway, I had an email address like super early. I mean, even in like school, right? Like in my high school, I believe in the power of the internet and social media. Okay.
Yes.
Um, but over the past few years, I'd really started to see how both the power of social media was not being used for good, and it wasn't good. It started to not be good for me,
Mhm.
right? It was a lot of like the run up to the 2016 election, and then everything that happened after that, and the way that I felt around that time, and everything I was seeing online. And I really started to just have a love hate, more hate than love relationship. And then um, it was a weekend in the fall of, what was it, 2020, and it was the weekend that RBG died, and when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. And like everybody like flocked to social media. We were all terrified, of like the downfall of democracy or whatever. And then a few days later, Mitt Romney said he wouldn't stand up against like a new Supreme Court nominee. And I was like, oh my God, there's nobody to come save us. Like I just felt very depressed. And
Mhm.
I don't know, in that moment I was like, those two things kind of broke me, and I was like, I'm done. I just can't.